Matt Gaetz is still, against all odds, out there doing stuff. He's not the AG, but he still does have a phone. And he was flying somewhere recently and apparently was texting his mother. And the person sitting behind him violated his privacy a little bit and took some photos, actually some video of his phone so that we could see his messages. And first of all, he has the largest font I've ever seen on his text messages, almost as if he wanted someone to leak a photo of it. But you can see there his mom say, "How many times do you want to hit the wall?" Which, ouch, mom, Jesus. But he says, "I'm a happily married man with a son on the way, 2 penthouse condos, a 1-to-1 real estate asset to debt ratio," which is definitely how you talk to your mom, "and 500K in my bank account, cash. I guess I'll keep hitting it till I die."
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And no, this wasn't an episode of an airport reality show about wild passengers, stressed out gate agents, lost bags, and airport meltdowns. But it was somewhat entertaining nonetheless. Picture this. Matt Gaetz was recorded on board a flight. Not exactly out of the ordinary, but what made this moment special was that he was getting a messenger smackdown from his mommy on his flight across state lines. The video got posted on TikTok, and on top of that, it went viral. A passenger sitting behind him allegedly caught the former congressman and Trump flunky getting into it with his own mom. And it wasn't just an argument. It was a full-on digital diaper change in public. This was the same pathetic little boy energy as a spoiled kid screaming in the grocery store because he didn't get his third Lunchable, like Jesse Waters getting uninvited from Thanksgiving by his mom, like Pete Hegseth getting dragged through the mud on national TV by his own mother. It was embarrassing. Apparently, Matt didn't realize someone behind him was being a tad bit nosy and caught a vulnerable moment. But hey, he's out in public, and when you're texting in 72-point font on a plain tray table, there's no bubble of privacy. Now, I'm not going to get into the ethics of filming someone's text, but I will say this. Watching Matt Gaetz get humiliated, that's prime time entertainment. But let's talk about privacy for a second. You ever see those First Amendment audit clips? Folks filming in public spaces, outside federal buildings, or on sidewalks, and someone loses their mind because they think that they have a right not to be filmed? Thing is, they don't. Not in public, and neither does Matt Gaetz. Now, Matt, or whatever supporters he's got left, might whine about his privacy being violated. But here's why that's hilarious. Matt Gaetz has spent his entire political career voting against protecting anyone else's privacy. Back in Florida, he was one of the only lawmakers to oppose a bill that would criminalize revenge porn. That's right, the kind that lets creeps post explicit photos of their exes without consent. He actually argued that people should be allowed to do whatever they want with those images. In Congress, he voted against multiple anti-human trafficking bills, including efforts to combat sex trafficking online. When it comes to data privacy and surveillance, he's almost always backed government overreach. So no, Matt, you don't get to play the victim now. You've had zero respect for other people's privacy, dignity, or safety. You treated personal data like collateral damage. So when your own texts leak and the world gets to see you groveling to your mommy about Donald Trump, that's not a violation. That's karma. And it is a dish best served cold. Eat up, you howdy-doody looking perv. You know what this reminds me of. The mommy energy. You've seen it. The frazzled mom slapping her kid's hand away from the candy aisle while he throws a meltdown. That's Matt Gaetz on that plane. That's Marge the Trainwreck Green crying on social media that MAGA turned on her. That's Jesse Waters disinvited from the Thanksgiving because he couldn't keep Trump's name out of his mouth. That's Pete Hegseth publicly called out by his own mother as, quote, an abuser of women. These are the loudest, proudest voices of MAGA, and they're getting smacked down by the one person who knows them best, Mom. Not because they're too bold, not because they're fighting the system, because they're spoiled punks who never learned what accountability actually looks like. They built their brand on being tough guys, but apparently Mom still runs the show. And let's not forget the most revealing part of this whole mess. Matt Gaetz' mom warned him that MAGA will turn on you. She wasn't wrong. Say one critical word about Trump and that base will chew you up and spit you out. Just ask Marge the Trainwreck Green. She tried to show 1 ounce of independence and suddenly MAGA was sharpening the pitchforks. So when Matt's own mother tells him to stop talking smack about Trump, That's not concern, that's strategy, that's fear. That's the same whisper you'd hear in a mob movie before someone disappears. You either kiss the ring or they cancel your existence. This isn't a movement, it's a loyalty cult. So let's hope this little airplane moment wasn't the only turbulence Matt Gaetz hit that day. Let's hope he lost his bag, missed his connections, got stuck overnight in some podunk terminal hotel with no toothbrush and no confirmed seat the next morning. Because if karma's still making rounds, she better trap him in Zone 5 boarding behind a toddler with a runny nose and a guy eating tuna out of a Ziploc bag. No cameras, no donors, no mommy to fix it. Just Matt, alone, texting Trump apologies on a cracked screen. And maybe then, just maybe, he'll understand that integrity isn't what you fake in front of a camera. It's what you show when no one's watching. Well, Matt, someone was, and now the whole country is. So yeah, maybe this wasn't technically an episode of an airport reality show. You know, the kind where passengers lose their minds, scream at gate agents, get the cops called, and end up crying on the floor while their carry-on spins alone in a carousel. But if they ever reboot that show, Matt Gaetz just nailed the audition. Full-blown humiliation, mommy text exposure, caught on camera, shared online, and ending with the country doing what it should have done years ago, laughing at this little creep instead of listening to him. So yeah, Matt, next time, keep your texts off the tray table and try not to get kicked off the flight by your own damn mom. Loser, and that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.